So I'm going to go through specifically certain metrics, certain tactics within the Google Ad Manager that we can utilize to ensure that our Google ad stays at the top. I'm going to go through what variables contribute to this, and I'm going to share with you a metric called search impression share, which will tell you in the Google Ad Manager, okay, as a percentage, how close you are to the top. What's going on, my gang? It's your boy Jerry the Ad Wizard coming back at you with a brand new video. And today we're going to be asking a super common question that I get asked a lot, which is all about why my Google ads are not appearing at the top. Why are other ads appearing above mine? Okay, so if you want to know the answers as to how you can get your Google ads to the top of the search listings, that you don't get beaten by other competitors running their ads, stick around, guys. We're going to get into it today. Right, guys, so if you have a Google ad campaign and you go and see what your placement looks like, okay, and you realize that actually there are other company ads are appearing above yours, okay, there's a number of different reasons for this, and there's a number of different things that you can do that ensures that your Google ad stays at the top of the page. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly where that is, where to find that in the Google Ad Manager, and what we can do to ensure that our Google ad is at the top of the list and other competitor ads aren't appearing above yours, okay? So if you want to know the top tips, secrets, and tricks of the trade, stick around, guys. Grab your coffees and grab your hats. It's time to spin out some ad magic! So the first thing that I want to introduce you to, if you have not already heard it, is something called search impression share, a metric in the Google Ad Manager. It is shown as a percentage, and what you need to look for in your ads is what your search impression share is as a percentage out of 100. The closer it is to 100, the closer you are to the top of your rankings. So that's the first principle here. Search impression share enables us to see how close we are to the top of the rankings on Google Ads. So this is a key metric that we can look at to identify how close we are, how many more optimizations we need, and what we can do to get to the top. So search impression share is the percentage of impressions that your ads receive compared to the total number of impressions that your ads could get. Impression share equals impressions divided by total eligible impressions. Eligible impressions are estimated using many factors, including targeting settings, approval statuses, and quality. And we're going to go through each of these steps as to what affects the search impression share and how to optimize each of those settings. Impression share data is available for campaigns, ad groups, product groups. Impression share is a good way to understand whether your ads might reach more people if you increase your bid or budget. And that's a big piece of information here that we're going to go through in the Google Ad Manager, how we can do those things. Because a lot of the time, the reason that your Google ad isn't appearing so close at the top is because there is some certain settings that need to be optimized. Okay, your budget, bidding, and your conversion strategy. We're going to go through all of those things and optimize each of them so you know what to do to get to the top of the Google ad rankings. So I'm just going to quickly show how it works, how we can tell you what to do, but to understand the methodology and technicalities behind it, I'm just going to read this out. This is from Google. To estimate impression share, Google looks at the ad auctions over the course of the day and uses internal data such as quality for you and other participants in the same ad auctions. So impression share includes all auctions where your ad is competitive enough to show. For example, it could include auctions where your ad show at twice its current bid, but could include auctions where your ad is estimated to need 1,000 bid increase in order to appeal. And what we can do is we can look at the search impression share in the Google Ad Manager to see what the percentage is. If we know that, if we can see that it's 10, 20, 30%, it's really low, guys. We need to get it to 100%. I'm going to show you exactly tips, tricks, what you can do to get it to 100%. If you're running shopping ads, the search impression share is very similar. The technicalities to it are very similar to that of the search campaign and impression share for shopping campaigns. It's calculated similarly to the text ad. However, this metric considers that multiple shopping ads from the same advertiser can show at the same time. So there is some nuance to it, but it is to avoid double counting when multiple shopping ads from the same advertiser are shown in the same auction. Google Ads assigns the impression opportunity to the highest ranked shopping ad from that advertiser. It's going to the highest shopping ad. And that's why it's also important to ensure that all of your ads have very good quality scores and you've optimized them as much as you possibly can. And we're going to go through exactly in the Google Ad Manager where you can do that. So just a little bit of background on the documentation of search impression share. I'm in the Google Ad Manager. To look and see the search impression share, you're going to click up here into columns and then type in this magnifying glass, type in search impression share, and it's going to be called SIS or something similar. So search impression share is what we need to be looking at. We can click some of these and add each of these in to see how each campaign compares and which campaigns need to be optimized. So search share. These are the top ones, so just press apply. And here we have search impression share. We have a bit of work to do on this ad account because, as we can see, it's out of 100%. This campaign here, each of these have different percentage scores under search impression share. And the closer you get to 100%, the closer you are to ranking at the top. Now, the nuances. First of all, a lot of these campaigns that we're running here are search campaigns, and we are targeting highly competitive keywords that other competitors are also bidding on. So it stands to reason that we don't know the competitor's budget. we don't know what they're bidding. And the fact that here we're seeing a lower search impression share means that there are a number of optimizations that we need to do to get to the top of that ranking. But there is some nuance because other competitors are also bidding for those same key terms. They might be very generic top of funnel or maybe more bottom of funnel key terms, but other competitors are also bidding for that. So we need to outbid them in order for us to outbid our competitors in this search impression share game. Within more generic search campaigns, this is a bit harder because a lot of people are bidding for all those different keywords. But guys, before we go anywhere else and you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss any more important updates. We are here many times a week to help business owners, online advertisers, and digital marketeers get the best from their online advertising, paid media, and digital marketing strategies. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. But the thing that you really want to pay attention to on this, if you are running a brand protection campaign, you are fortifying your own brand keywords using your Google ad campaigns. Own brand names, which some people will say, why? It's because if you don't create ads around your business name, your brand key terms, there's a very good possibility if you don't bid for your own branded key terms, then another competitor might be trying to steal your traffic. These are certain tactics that we might recommend in Google Ads, but I found that when you're targeting your competitor key terms, you are tapping into a highly relevant audience, but it's really expensive because there's a very high likelihood that they also have a brand protection campaign that they need to stay at the top of. If somebody types in your brand key term of your company name and you have a Google ad that isn't at the top and a competitor is outbidding you so that their ad is appearing, somebody could be poaching your traffic. Somebody could just click on, type in your brand name, see the result, the first one up, and don't even realize that they've gone to a competitor website. Before you know it, the competitor has stolen your traffic and your customer and everything else. Really important, guys. If your brand is big enough and there are people searching in your brand name, if you have got a brand protection campaign, the search impression share is optimized at 100% as much as possible. Because like I said, if somebody's typing in Coca-Cola and Fanta have an ad bidding for the Coca-Cola key term and that appears above Coca-Cola, that's not good for your brand. That competitor could be stealing your traffic, and before you know it, Coca-Cola don't get a sale, Fanta gets a sale. Really important, guys. If you've got a brand protection campaign in your Google Ads, that you make sure the search impression share is close to 100% as possible, because that's where you have authority and you need to be appearing at the top. Now, with other campaigns, other more generic campaigns, by running shoes in South London, for example, there could be loads of other competitors also bidding on that key term. But you want to watch search impression share to see how close you are to the top. Don't forget, you want to try and get close to 100% as possible. Now, how do we do that, guys? How do we increase our percentage? For example, our brand protection campaign needs a bit of work. We've got 75% when we need to get to 100%. So we have some optimization that we need to do here. Now, we've done a number of tests and we have found out that the things that work the best are the following. So I'm going to go through step by step what we need to do in order to ensure that the search impression share is at 100% or as close to as we can get it. We have two types of bidding strategies. We have maximize conversions and we actually have maximize search impression share. The thing that we've actually found the best to increase the search impression share is actually maximizing conversions, which is very counter because the other bidding strategies are things like maximizing search impression share. We've done a number of tests, maximize conversions or maximize impression share. Here we can actually say the percentage that we want to target. So we want to get to 100%. Now 100% is going to be quite expensive. What's your maximum cost per click and all those things? We've tested the bidding strategy being search impression share, what the results have been. And when we tested the bidding strategy being maximize conversions, the answer that gets the best results for us was maximize conversions. What happens when we focus on search impression share here is that we can target it based by the search impression share that we're wanting to achieve. But through our test, we found this is a really expensive way of climbing up the ranks. And there's actually a couple of other little tips and tricks that you can do that will ensure that your search impression share gets higher that doesn't use this bidding strategy. So search impression share as a bidding strategy is more expensive in our opinion. So to maximize this strategy, what we actually found when the bidding strategy is maximizing conversions, this actually allowed us to climb up the Google ranks a lot quicker and a lot more cost effective. Now, what is the reason for this? We think this is because maximizing conversions leads to action. I have a feeling that the reason that Google prioritizes this more versus search impression share as the bidding strategy, even though it is more expensive, does take a little bit of time. I think because conversions are tied around actions, Google can see how effective your ad is based on the actions that people are taking. So how do we climb up the search impression share ladder? A number of factors. One, how much are you spending? What is your ad budget? If there's a competitor that has a higher ad budget than you, then their bidding strategy is going to be higher. They're going to be able to outbid you for these placements, which means that they're going to appear higher. And this is actually when we speak with Google, this is what they say in terms of maximizing search impression share. Well, that doesn't fully conclude that your search impression share is going to be at 100%, like just because it is one contributing factor, but there are also many others. Google says this is the main one, but I say that is one contributing. Also, the type of campaign that you're using. So with PMAX, for example, because PMAX is a discovery-based campaign, it's bidding and searching for other search terms and keywords that other competitors are also bidding for. So it's going to be more expensive. The competitiveness of the key terms that you're targeting plays into it. Are there other people bidding for your same search terms? If there are, then you might be getting outbid and you need to increase your budget, your target conversion, which you set up here. So your target CPA, you need to increase that to show that you're willing to pay more to Google so that you can outbid your competitors for that same auction. If you have a lot of key terms, maybe think about reducing them a little bit, really optimizing around those, creating specific ads around those keywords, and then building it up slowly to ensure that you are targeting at that 100% threshold. Other ways that actually your ads will climb is just naturally. Make sure you're always checking your ad quality scores to ensure that the campaign optimization is as close to 100% as it can be. Super important because it looks at these signals. So under the ad level, you want to always make sure that the ad strength is excellent. These are signals that Google takes into consideration when understanding who it should appear above the other ads. If all your ads are excellent strength, all your campaigns are optimized to the absolute maximum, this will also send you in good stead with Google so that they know this is a great ad responding to it. Make sure that your ad headlines are closely aligned to the landing pages that is being driven to, that you're utilizing those search terms from your ads in your landing page. Make sure you use the correct keywords associated with the landing page and everything else. Again, this really increases the quality of the scores that your ad has. Let's promote it higher. So the quality of the score also really plays into consideration here. I would say if you're finding that you have got your maximized conversions bidding strategy turned on, you've increased your budget and you're still seeing a pretty low search impression share, just test your campaign bidding strategy around maximize search impression share. Okay, it might be that within your industry or your niche with your business that it could actually be more successful. If you're working with our clients, this is obviously my strategy and what I think has worked best through the analysis and the tests that we've done, and that's why I'm recommending that. But I think taking it with a pinch of salt, everybody's business is slightly different and you could find different results within your Google Ad Manager. So that's just a recommendation that I'd have just to test that. If you're not seeing the results in one bidding strategy, just switch it over to the other bidding strategy and you might see some better results. So that's just another little tip because it's not a one size fits all, but it is a best practice for us and that you can try for yourself, and then maybe that might also work for you as well. Keep checking in on the data, guys. Your search impression share, super important because this will give you a really good understanding as to what you need to do to build this up so that your Google ad appears at the very top of the list. Maximize your budget, play around with your bidding strategy, go in on a routine basis and optimize your ads as much as possible. And the fourth, give it time. It will slowly climb the ranks. And the fifth actually is experiment around with your target CPA a little bit. If you're seeing that the search impression share isn't too high, increase your target CPA. And that's it, guys. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully now you have a better understanding as to what you can do and to ensure that your Google ad is at the top of the searches and isn't being outbid by other ads. Let me know in the comments down below if you've got any questions. And that's it for today, guys. Hopefully that gives you a really good understanding as to how to get your Google ad to the top of the rankings. We've obviously gone through many different things there, including search impression share, all the settings that you need to do to maximize your conversions. And don't forget those secret hidden tips and tricks. I'd love to hear what you think and hear what you guys are working on. You can catch me at Jerry Ad Wizard on Instagram, at Jerry Griffiths on LinkedIn, and at Jerry Dreadlocks everywhere else. If you'd like to watch another video on how to get the best out of your Google search campaign, if you're running Google search and you want to know the best practices and the tips and tricks needed to optimize and maximize your Google search campaigns, click this video over up here. But if nothing else, and you made me this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm your boy Jerry the Ad Wizard, and wherever you are in the world, I bid you peace, love, and a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.